TV. Hey, I hope that you are ready for a real inside look on what I do, how I do. We're going to take you inside the loop, give you some money tips, some health tips. We're going to show you how to live your best life each and every day to this highest potential. Just follow me. We're going right into it. Hey, welcome to Derick Gant's big maximum impact event. We have the Roger Bowman with us. Roger is going to tell you his certifications, but let me tell you, he is the Mac Daddy of fitness, wellness, and information. I get more out of my one workout session with him. Now, I'm not talking about the weights. I get more from him information-wise on how to run my life, how to stay operating at a high level than I do at any other time in my life when I've worked out with someone. So, Roger, you were at the conference that we held, the 24K Life Conference that we held in January. I got pictures of you and the wife on the goal sheet, putting the goals up. So you put your goals up, and after you guys did that, tell me what happened after you guys did that. Like, you got home and you start looking at your goals and your numbers. Tell me what happened.
Yeah, well, fortunately, and I really am very, very fortunate to have an awesome wife to where, I look at us as like a team, we share ideas, we share goals, and we kind of feed off of one another. And, your event was great. We came back with, some ideas, a little bit of motivation, and just game plan,
Right.
Writing down some goals, mapping out, if you will, what needs to be done to kind of increase revenue and increase things and then start implementing it. And that's what we've done.
I'm talking about the truth. The truth was that you guys went home and you were closer to the goals you had written down than you knew, or did you get them? I don't remember.
Now that was Marcy. Now Marcy was closer to her goal than I was.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, once she actually finalized her taxes and stuff, because this is back in January,
Exactly.
She realized that she was, in fact, closer to her goal. So that was a Marcy thing, not so much a Roger thing right there.
Gotcha. But I keep you guys together as a unit, so I thought it was. So, the reason why I really wanted everybody to hear that is because, if you don't know where you are, then you don't know where you're going. And she was already where she said she wanted to be, which means that she needed to pick a new destination. That was pre-COVID. She still had room to go on being amazing that year. So I was super excited about it, because all that told me was that she needed to focus, readjust, and go even higher than what she thought her goals were. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. So my first question for you, and we brought you in to talk to us about how to level up our immune systems for this COVID thing. My first question for you is, what do you think in general of what's going on in the world regarding COVID?
I have a lot of thoughts. I don't know if that's an easy question, but one of the first things that comes to my mind is, and I spoke about this earlier this year, is that we are being exposed. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, Derick, is that I think we're being exposed at large, as a country at large, as to how unhealthy we are. What I look at is the bigger epidemic, and the problem is the obesity, which of course is directly correlated with heart disease, diabetes, cancer, which are the biggest killers in this country. And those are a lot of the comorbidities or the pre-existing health issues that are tied with all these issues with, COVID and, all these concerns, revolving around, our immune system and how healthy we are. And how we can handle something if we are in fact exposed to something.
Right.
So that's what I mean when I say I believe that we are being exposed.
No, I agree.
However, I don't think it's being addressed accordingly, as it pertains to the media and stuff.
Okay.
I look at this as for the right individuals who are forward thinking and thinking smart. This is a good opportunity to acknowledge, hey, this is our bodies and our immune system is critically important on so many levels.
Right.
I know you're a performance guy, you're a performance coach. I know it's a lot of what you do, and it's just like having a sharp looking car, but if the engine and the transmission is bad, and you need that car to get you from point A to point B, and have you be effective day to day with your work and what you're bringing to the community. If things aren't working right internally, that's eventually going to diminish your value and what you're able to bring to the table each and every day. Okay. So I think we're being exposed, and I think a lot of us need to take ownership of that.
So since we're being exposed, and people have this clear perspective of who's not healthy because of the way the virus attacks us, how can the average person, I understand that we can't mass diagnose, but just in general, let's just assume that somebody's not doing much at all. Maybe popping a little vitamin C every once in a while, or eating a Flintstone chewable or something like that. What's your advice for what they could do to start moving their life in a better direction from an immune perspective?
Well, like a lot of my answers, there's not a one shoe fits all type of answer there. Everyone is unique and different. However, I think there are some common things that all of us should apply, and in some cases not apply. So the first thing that I would encourage everyone is first and foremost, do no harm. That's the first step. And what I mean by do no harm is, some of the basics. Don't smoke. And even bigger, which are basics, but a lot of people don't understand the basics with regards to not eating manufactured foods. We really need to kind of get back to our roots and eat real foods. I say colorful foods, eat the rainbow. So we're feeding our body, good nutrients. We're giving the body the things that it needs to thrive, to have a good immune system, to be healthy, to feel good, to look good. So that first and foremost, do no harm. Don't consume bad things. Pay attention to lifestyle habits.
Okay.
And stress, easier said than done, but controlling stress, getting adequate amounts of sleep. If those are problems in your life, then maybe those are some areas that one needs to address and try to become a little bit better at. So First step, do no harm.
Okay.
Because you can do all these good things. I mean, I could suggest, X, Y, and Z, but if you're overriding what X, Y, and Z are intended to do by doing harmful things to yourself and to your body, to your health every day, it doesn't leave one getting to where they really need to be.
Ever wondered what it would be like to live the life that you see in your head? I know I do all the time, and that's how I set my goals. We work with individuals that are looking to multiply their income. They're looking to manage what they have, improve their health, their happiness, and most importantly, their wallet. You have more time to do more things with more choices when you have your finances together, when you have your fitness together, when you have your schedule on point. We're high-performance coaches that help people to create more money, to manage their life by adding accountability structures, goal setting, and habits. If you really want to change, reach out to us. We're right here. We want you to be your best, bring your best, leave nothing to chance. So let me ask you this question. So, the information you just shared, and we all know you can get anything you want off the internet. But the reality is that in order to successfully move forward, do you think that someone should jump on the internet and start researching things based on what you said? Should they hire an expert like yourself to coach them through the process? Or do you think that they should just keep doing what they're doing?
Again, it depends on the individual.
No, let's just take the average person.
And I am referencing to the average person. The average person, assuming the average person knows little to nothing about health and wellness and nutrition, if that in fact is the case, one can get overwhelmed really quickly just by Googling a bunch of stuff. Because everyone's out there to sell you something or push or pull you in one direction or another. So that being said, under the assumption, that is the average person, then yes, seeking out a good qualified, coach, wellness coach, is definitely a great first step in my opinion. Okay. One that has a proven track record, credentials, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Because that can really help, simplify, the whole process of trying to figure out what is in fact the best route to take. So instead of spending this amount of time, you maybe spend this amount of time and effort getting where you need to go.
Right. Okay. So my last question for you, same question, just on the physical side. So someone's been relatively sedentary. They live a relatively sedentary lifestyle. They may take the dog for a walk every once in a while, or they take their dog for a walk, or they don't have a dog, so they don't walk at all. What would you say is a good place for them to start to actually incorporating some physical activity in their life?
Again, it depends on the individual, but, assuming that the average individual that we're referencing to is little to nothing and they randomly will walk the dog up the block and back a couple times a week, if that, there's a few approaches, starting slow is often good for the average person. I'm not much of a runner. I'm a bad runner, but I always like the Couch to 5K program.
Okay.
If for those that are not familiar with that or may not be familiar with it, just simply Google that. I'd say you can Google that one. It's just kind of self-explanatory. Other approaches that I personally recommend is just a 10+1. That's just kind of something I kind of coined. So what I mean by that is, depending on the individual, stick with 2 or 3 basic movements that they can do with their own body weight at home. So for example, day number 1, 10 push-ups, and a push-up could be off the edge of a couch or maybe 2 chairs if you cannot do 10 push-ups off the floor, and a lot of people can't. 10 push-ups, 10 squats in place. The next day, do 11. And the next day, do 12. So your body will adapt and you'll start to progress and get a little bit stronger, build your endurance, build your strength day to day, week to week. So again, starting slow and moving in through it. And then in addition to that, once there's a baseline established, whether it be this, Couch to 5K or this 10+1, then again, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, seeking out a good qualified personal trainer, I think I think it's a great thing for most people, especially if they have little to no experience, with weight training or resistance training. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. I think your information is invaluable.
Do you have any last words or any last bits of information you want to share with some of our team, some of our people watching this incredible event to send them off their way, or you said what we needed to say?
I have a little bit more. I mean, what kind of time frame do we have here?
Oh, go for it, brother.
Well, I would take a step back with regards to, what we can do from a lifestyle kind of standpoint with regards to our immune system. There are some very basics. Of course, we have good nutrition, exercise, being active, and I said, do no harm and all that. But there are some basics that are often void in our diets as Americans. Again, just generalizing everything. So there are some basic supplements that I think most Americans could and can benefit from. So to run through a couple of those, and for anyone listening, to write these down. I'm just trying to simplify this. With all my years of experience, I've been working in the health and fitness industry for almost 20 years now. Okay. So just a few, zinc, vitamin C, preferably vitamin C in a liposomal or what's called a buffered form. These are two of your better, more absorbable forms of vitamin C. Vitamin A. Vitamin A helps keep the epithelium, it's like connective tissue, inside. That's where like a virus or something like that would penetrate through. Okay. Another compound, which is classified as an amino acid, actually, it's called NAC for short, which is abbreviated for N-acetyl-L-cysteine. So this NAC, N-acetyl-L-cysteine, is a precursor to what's called glutathione. So this essentially gives the body the tool that it needs, one of the vital tools it needs to produce endogenous or internally make glutathione, which is arguably the strongest antioxidant in the human body. So if we think of upper respiratory illnesses, cold or a lot of these viruses, things like that, this is a good. It's very helpful. There's actually some good data on this that anybody can look up. And a good just quality multivitamin. Again, this is just general population kind of talk here. So these are a couple, I'd say honorable mentions that a lot of people, I believe, should at least explore and consider for their own needs as it pertains to their diet. If one's diet is not the best or the most complete, or it's not the most colorful, mm-hmm. With an adequate amount of vegetables and things like that, these are good insurance policies, I believe.
Excellent. So
those are, I think, some good nuggets, a couple of takeaways there. Again, as it revolves around doing what we can to optimize our immune system.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time, man, and we look forward to hearing so much more from you. We'll get all your information posted so people can reach out to you and get what they need to elevate their life. Give me 1 second and we'll be right back. Hey, we want to thank Roger for everything that he just said and did for us. We know that if you didn't hear it, maximum impact, you need to get some help. Surround yourself with people that know what's going on, can show you how to implement it, and then put it out in massive action in the world. Massive impact, maximum life, quality control.
This is Mary. She understands the importance of a strong root system. So when Mary lost a tooth, she went to Frankel Dentistry to replace it with a dental implant. Its titanium root is precisely placed and naturally fuses with her jawbone over time for a permanent replacement that's as strong as it is beautiful, just like her smile. Because making you smile is what we're all about.
Hey, it's Derick Gant, 24K Life. Let's talk money today. So in the marketplace, there's been a huge craze about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrency. Now, for those of you who know about cryptocurrency, the question becomes, is it an investment or is it a way to use money for the purchases of goods and services? For those of you that don't know about Bitcoin, let me give you a quick brief history. So Bitcoin cryptocurrency is a cryptocurrency. It is one method of saying, hey, I want to use digital money, and there are over 4,000 different companies like Bitcoin. I use Bitcoin because it was the very first digital currency established back in '09. When it was established, it was worth 25 cents, 50 cents. A few years later, by 2011, it was worth well over $15,000, and today it's worth somewhere north of $40,000 for one Bitcoin. Now, if you wanted to buy it, you could get it in a fraction or fractions of a coin. So you can invest actually any amount of money that you want if you consider it an investment, which is the real underlying tone of what's really going on with this. So let's go backwards and say, when Bitcoin was created, it was created as a way for people to use money, not necessarily traditional money, to use money, digital money, on the web between individuals without anyone tracking or knowing what was going on. And when I say anyone, I'm talking about the government. There's no governmental controls, there's no governmental insight. The only thing the government really knows is that you had some money in your bank, and they might have seen that transfer to some other institution on the web. Past that transaction, they have no idea. They don't know what you bought. They don't know what you bought, what it's worth, if you sold it for a profit or a loss. They don't know if you bought a Coca-Cola or if you bought Coca-Cola stock. They really don't know. And so hence, there's an underlying problem with it from that standpoint, because the government can't tax what they don't know. And the government operates off of taxation. That's how things are run. So what should you do, and what's it really all about? So cryptocurrency is a way for people to protect their privacy, because again, no one can see what you bought and when you bought it and how much you purchased it for. They can't see when you sold it. So it's very much a private transaction. That becomes really important nowadays, because in today's marketplace, every time you pull out your plastic, be it a debit card, credit card, or anything else, or even your digital online Venmo, PayPal, Cash Apps, those things can be tracked. They can be traced. They see what you buy, when you buy it, how much quantity you buy, how often you buy, the frequency. And what happens with that information is they say, oh, Derick, a black male in his 50s, is buying this, and this often. So if he's buying these things, okay, if he's buying suits, maybe he needs ties. And so you'll start getting advertisements for ties or fancy shoes. If you buy a certain kind of car, maybe you want to wear a certain kind of watch. So this information from our own purchases is being taken and is being resold to other merchants, which are weaponizing it to give it back to you in the absolute most favorable light. Obviously, that increases the likelihood that you're going to buy whatever it is they're selling, because they already know what you like, they already know what you do, how often you do it, and what it sort of means to you. These things were not anything new recently. This type of information was tracked on Facebook for politics and people's voting patterns, people's belief patterns, and then weaponized against us, thrown back at us, and used for our votes, used for our insights, used for our reading material, used for your purchases. Because let me tell you something, everything boils down to that almighty dollar. What are you doing with your money? Where is it going, and how can I get a piece of it? That is exactly what advertisers and marketing companies are trying to do. Personally, I don't see anything wrong with it per se, as long as you know what's going on. Every time I pull out my debit card, I know exactly what I'm doing. I know that it's going to get traced or tracked. And, you know, at this point in my life, I don't have anything to hide, so I don't worry about it. But I do know that it's also coming back to me in advertising, so I have to be aware that this just didn't happen to appear on my timeline. This is something that they're tracking and trying to show me so that I can buy it. And I'm very cautious and aware of my spending habits because I am trying to build wealth, not spend my wealth. Now, not perfect. I've already built wealth and spent it. So this go around, as we improve our lives, 24K lifestyle, we're looking to improve our lives. We'll be right back with more information on Bitcoin. So you might want to buy some Bitcoin. So here's what you need to know. You need a virtual wallet. That wallet is available online. If you type in blockchain or Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, you'll get lots of offers. Do your homework, read up on it. If you go to DerickGant.com /blog, you'll see we've written a few articles on blockchain. We've written a few articles on Bitcoin, on cryptocurrency to help you better understand what you should or shouldn't do. The investment, if you want to consider it an investment, has been extremely well, but it's also been very, very volatile. They've had wild swings of growth and wild swings of decline. Right now, it had a massive growth, but over the last couple weeks, it's had a nice dip. Even though there is no underlying value to Bitcoin, meaning that it's not backed by gold or some precious metal, it's not backed by a commodity like water or grains or pork bellies, there is no underlying value other than speculation, meaning that people think it's going to do better. So because of that, you have to be very cautious getting into this type of investment. I call it an investment because of the value that is increased. It would be crazy to take that and buy a car with it or buy a home or buy a suit. Here's why it would be crazy. Let's say that you're going to go out and you're going to spend $1,000 on a computer. Okay? So you go out and you buy the computer with your Bitcoin. So you spend 1,000 Bitcoin to get your computer. The very next day, the value of Bitcoin goes up by 6%. Okay? So that $1,000 is now up 6%. Well, you just lost money and your computer didn't gain 6% of value. So you don't use an investment to purchase a depreciating asset. A depreciating asset, something that loses money. At the same time, if you were to hire out your services, so I'm an artist or I'm a painter and I'm going to paint your house, and I say pay me in Bitcoin, you pay me $1,000 in Bitcoin and it drops by 10%. So now I only have $900 and I'm responsible for $1,000 of work. Again, I just lost money. So until it becomes more stable, until it really starts to resemble real monetary measures, I suggest you look at Bitcoin or cryptocurrency as an investment. One day you will be able to use it as a currency, and I think that each and every one of us should be aware of what it is, how it operates inside of what we call a blockchain. A whole different discussion, but blockchain is a private box. That's the secret box. You should focus on it as an investment. After you've done that and you learn about it and you see how it grows and how the society accommodates it, then you can figure out what you should do. But meanwhile, make sure you know every transaction is being traced and used against you. I call it being weaponized, so that you buy more, spend more. They don't want you to have any money in the bank. They don't want you to have any financial security. They want you buying things blindly so that you feel just as good as the next person, which they don't feel so good when they're broke.